BMJ, thanks for that. Hi friends, how you all doing? You late or is the live not working? Yeah, I had the wrong stream key set in. I've got this new setup. Use StreamYard. Oh, I was pointing at the wrong camera there too. Welcome everybody to the show. My name's Rocky Outcrop. Welcome to the show. This is your morning financial show. The markets are opening up in a couple of minutes and we are here live to see it happen. You're in the place to be, the rising tide. You, amongst everybody else here, help rise everybody else up. A rising tide lifts all boats, and we are doing that by learning a little bit every day and getting a bit more self-sufficient when it comes to the financial world. We do that together as a community and enjoy the process and each other's company. By jingles, you're a friendly bunch. I really do love yous all. We've got the charts here that we've taken a look at. I actually just did a broadcast. I'm such an idiot. I know. I'm such a silly fanny. I know. Messages on the backs of postcards. Send them to "You're a silly idiot." Yeah, that actually do. The postman will be able to find me with that one. I had a delivery and everything in the background of the last stream. Oh, it was all happening. I got a delivery of a window. Anyway, hopefully this is working. Let's just check in here. There he is. When Ambo, when squats. Brilliant. So these things are all happening very, very soon. There will be ambulances and squats. Don't worry about it. Ambulances and squats on the way. All organized for us. Send the Ambos. We're live now. Send the Ambos. We're live now. Also, whoops, brilliant. Got a 420 donation there. You'll be happy to learn. World of Radio. Also, send the ambulances. We're live now. What was the other thing that we wanted? When moon, when friends, when live. I don't know. We're live. Send the Ambos. Thanks. Just got on the radio there to ambulance people. We've got them organized. So the pre-market pricing on GME just before we actually started the show was 177, 179. It's kind of pushing up a couple of dollars. There is a gap on the charts there. So we're going to have to jump in now, live now to the charts as they are opening up. Bing! Thanks for that. Look at that lovely bouncing around weed leaf in there. So brilliant. Thanks so much. And yeah, this is the charts here. This is the 24-hour chart. We don't need to be on that one just now. We do know that yesterday's prices did more or less what we anticipated with that movement down to 175. Eek. Well, we actually found a bounce just there, pushed up here. We're above the 177 level of that 236. That's specifically why I was mentioning that one. Now, will we fill this in and get a rise up immediately afterwards? It does look like that's potential to be the case. It absolutely does. Seems to be happening right now. So that's fantastic. We'll be seeing how things respond if we hit the area of that gap again. We are currently operating really close to that. Just coming in for it right now. Live AMC here, 36. It's been down as low as 36, 50 so far today. A little bit, tiny bit negative at the very start of the day. Nothing really to report here. Having opened up more or less where we left off yesterday. So far in this first 15-minute candle, kind of been up a bit, down a bit, right here within this sort of 30-cent range starting off the day. Looking to see whether or not we'll get a positive opening range and a positive bit of price action today. I don't like the fact that the price action is operating outside of this kind of general region where you can see these as upward sloping green line, this downward sloping green line, kind of outside of that big old triangle that we had there. But note that we were outside of it a couple of times in the past. This one on the 15-minute time frame, not really wrapping around the prices quite to the extent that we want to see them. Over here in the 4-hour time frame, you can see that this is obviously a bit of an issue just now, but we're still in the throes of deciding really exactly where we are. You can see the 15-minute candles have just turned into wicks here, and the body is still being touched by that. So the bigger picture is still more or less the same, although it could be argued that we're starting to push outside of this zone here on the smaller time frame. So we're looking to see a reaction to that, and we really don't want to be seeing trending downward price action. We have a low here followed by a lower low, and incidentally this previous high was actually a higher high in terms of the body closure. So this is really kind of pushing out a bit, getting a little bit more kind of volatility within its range, and this is what's happening just now. There was negative conditions on the RSI. This is a 15-minute time frame again. There were negative conditions on the RSI previously. We didn't manage to convert them into positive conditions with this test of the bullish control zone. Much like over here when we were in the positive conditions, came down, converted that to negative just here, pushed back up. We did put in a higher high on this price, but it actually didn't convert to a higher high over there on the RSI. We weren't able to break past that sort of key area. AMC, I think, above the middle line in the RSI and the small term time frames, being above our current price action, or previous price action at 36, easily leads, easily gives us that impetus to push on up and try the 38 area again, much in the same way that we're trying this little bit of zone to say, oh, are you going this way? Are you going that way? Ooh, same sort of thing would be happening just up there, giving you that same sort of, oh, are we going this way? Are we going that way? Kind of flirting, if you like, teasing either side of that arrangement. Back over to GME just to see how it's getting on after that gap fill. Boom, back up again, back down again, sorry, to fill in that gap like we anticipated right now, bouncing away from the gap fill zone, leaving a wick there. And that's what we want to see. We want to see the next 15-minute candle, got 10 minutes to go, etc. on this one. Want to see the next one starting to get sort of continuation towards the upside, and really playing with that movement for the day for this, while it is a sloppy looking drawing there, because I just did it with the brush tool rather than a line or anything, that we're looking for this for us to be able to kind of continue up in terms of this this upward sloping demand line. Not a million miles away in terms of the thoughts about AMC, in terms of, like, you know, if you were to take this candle and pop it down here and be flirting with movements below, but you know, then you're not, you know, it's the same sort of psychology, but this one here obviously flirting right now with the idea of movements towards the top side. If we can actually take out the 177, 178, just to kind of, you know, actually do that, 180, you know, to spend that time there, then we immediately start looking towards 183, 184, you know, and that's nice. That's a nice place to be at. So that's the start of the day here with those stocks. Look at a couple other ones that we'd like to look at on the show before going back over to check in with the chat. I can see here with the chat that it does seem to be working and everything else. For 1 hour is the first time frame that means anything, says TradeSpawn. Indeed, we're still just looking at the opening range at the start of the day, though, with the excitement that is the start of the markets so far today. It's pushing down on AHT actually at the start of the market here this morning, dropping down to 1396, but not actually putting in a lower low. Whoops, there you go. Wouldn't be a Rocky Outcrop show if I didn't at least try to move the charts once while I have the drawing tool on. Hey, it's been a good running joke that this week for sure, but it's been that way since I started doing these broadcasts. Over here you can see that the price has dropped down below $14, obviously. Currently is at $13.97. We've still got 9 minutes left in this opening range, but haven't dropped down to $13.90 from $14.20 at the start of the day. That 30-cent drop signaling to us that, of course, we don't have that immediate positive rise up here, but that's okay as regards to where we are with this trend, retesting this area of support so far at the start of the day. Now, that area of support was just from the 12th of October, just happened, you know, here we are on the 13th. That was, of course, yesterday then. So we're just testing in the range that we've been in the last couple of days. To kind of put this into context, I'll actually jump all the way from the 15-minute time frame to the 2-day time frame so you can see what we're seeing here. Of course, right down to this area, we are looking at the same sort of story. Do we have markets that we're looking at? Damn it, I forgot about the drawings. But you get the point here. You can see that the markets that we're looking at, we've got this overall kind of, yes, there's been pullbacks. Yes, there has. That's happened. Are we experiencing now the area where they could turn around at again for movements towards the top side? If not, then it does become a bit of a problem over here on AHT, where you'd be inclined to think that you'd go back down to test lower lows, etc. But this low, this high, this higher low, this higher high, and so far where we are with this higher low does have a fairly beautiful layout to it, and the 2-day time frame is going to cover up, paper over all of those cracks down here in the 15-minute time frame. But we can analyze it so far to say that we haven't taken out that low, so we're doing a rather dandy. We do have a gap up there above us as well, something to aim for perhaps today as well with the price action. Plenty of time left, of course, 7 minutes 22 seconds here at the start of the day. We can take a look at a couple other stocks and see how they're getting on. AMAT, for instance, over here, the gap starting at around about the 127 area at 126.87, all the way up towards 128.06, where we find the wick of the current candle, which is a green candle and is pushing towards the top side, currently living at the top end of that expression so far, taking out those previous highs. If we were to actually end up here at this time frame today so far, the 15-minute time frame, that would be interesting because we would be taking out those highs and we could then, of course, swing back down afterwards. That would be, if we'd done enough with this. So how could we figure out if we'd done enough with this or not? Just looking at this real quick here and seeing that it's kind of lower than the previous one there, even though we're higher over here. We do have previous lower lows, though, on the chart here. So this is kind of like a downward movement, and taking that area out, then in a sense, just the closure alone, as opposed to the oscillators down below, would be significant for us. What do I mean by that? I don't want to go into cracking into too much education today, but what I really mean by that is that we're looking at a downward trend, so we're not looking for the divergences at the top end for reversals. So we're at the top end at the minute of the range. We're towards the top side, the upper side, the higher priced side. And we're asking then, therefore, are we able to get a closure up above here? As soon as we get a closure up above here, then we'd be looking at this gap fill potential as being a real positive buy area. If we come all the way up here and actually don't achieve a higher high, and we are right here asking questions right now, and we've got plenty of time. We could do it in the next 15, and the next 15. But if ultimately we don't achieve a higher high, having come all the way up here before going back down to fill in that gap, then, you really are kind of like putting in a bit of a kind of a stinky dog show, or whatever you might call it. I don't really know what would be a wet, smelly dog thing, because you'd be looking at the potential of just being in a sort of channel just like this in the meantime, with a wick that extends up here, or etc. But right now we're doing fantastic, and that's exactly what I want to see. The potential for us to then go on and just and actually start to turn this trend direction around, because as you can see here, it has been towards the downside for the last week, would be for realsy goods times nice to see. So yeah, brilliant, excellent. So back again to GME, just to bring in that story and see how we're getting on, because what is the rationale that we're currently trying to kind of extrapolate onto the charts here, and that would be to take out that 177.236 Fibonacci retracement point. This isn't a massive long-term one. It's only drawn in from the day before yesterday, up there when we were hitting those heady highs of 188, all the way down here to the lows that we just had. In fact, that's actually positioned on slightly wrong candle. Just here's better. And this is showing us the way currently. There's a couple of little bits of confluence that are worth pointing out. Just in this region, you can see the I need to get rid of this all these drawings off here, just here, so that you can see better the confluence that I'm trying to point out. We don't need all that muck on there. It only takes a second to drop back in. So you can see the 236 in here at this area, proving us this confluence with our previous high just here. So we don't have just one reason, which is the 236 itself. We have, of course, two reasons. So that's good. That's a good start. That's an excellent way to be here for us. We can then compile additional information for ourselves, looking at things like taking out our previous high just over here on the RSI, pushing past the neutral line. Can we capitalize off the back of this? Very bullish conditions previously. Pop down here. Yes, we came into this debatable zone about the RSI. We didn't really push past 30 or anything. We just came into it. Just dipped into it, giving us a little warning that things might not be so great. They might not be so great so immediately. We might, or whatever, but doing pretty well so far. Now that the market is opened, you might see an increase in liquidity over there on Bitcoin just now, or well, no real increase in liquidity. It's not like people have really joined into the party, but we do see that we've got a slight change in conditions in a sense since this morning for us UK time. So since kind of late last night, essentially since all of the American market went to bed, the Korean market woke up, etc. Korean, Japanese, all that, that particular time zone. And we've been doing this during it. So Today, to continue doing this sort of thing would be Nito. We're finding support right now in a clear area where I have that horizontal on there. That horizontal is actually a Fibonacci retracement point. So as you can see just there. So that's what we're looking at on the charts today, everyone. Boyzo. Right. So yeah. Time to run those intro clips. I'm going to jump over to the chat and see how you're all getting on. This is where maybe you might have been thinking, oh, I want to hit like, but the chat is banging, but the show is banging. We're getting loads of information. Better pay attention. Can't afford to take my eyes off the screen for a second. Well, this is your opportunity. How are you? Are you getting on all right? Let me know what you're trading today so we can take a look at that as well. Minner jumping in here, telling us, hit like, everybody. That's a good bit of advice there. I really, again, today, this camera is just the colors on it and everything, just really all out of whack. Whoa, that's mental. Saturation, a bit more saturation. Whoa, that doesn't help. Sharpness. Whoa, I'm looking a bit awful. Contrast down a bit. Why is it so horrible? So yeah, how are you doing? Let me know what you're trading today. CKP in the chat there as well. Good to see you, KP. Good to see you, KP. Bam 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 ba da ba da bam bam ba da ba ba bam. I hope you're doing well out there. Thanks so much, by the way, KP, again, just to say it here during the chat. For that, I don't know if I'm making it better. I think I am. For that hype video, woo! If anybody else wants to do anything like that, it's totally going to be well received by me. So yeah, I'm having to adjust every one of my settings on this camera manually to get it to look a little bit better. I think we did a bit of good work there. That was probably worth it. Probably worth it. Jamie's putting in a wee point here, not necessarily, but if it is in a triangle, then breaks the top side above, there is a true change to the structure. That is to say, reaching it has a significant chance of happening, and breaking it is... Oh, great. Excellent. There's words in sentence there which mind don't quite understand, follow order of words correctly. Entirely myself, brain. So, we have here, still looking at my homework ticker. Is it making my bank balance healthier? Is it making it sicker? Join the best trading community on Discord via Rocky Outcrop's Patreon right here, folks. Oh, is this layout not wide enough or something? What's going on here? Patreon. Yeah, totally. Give a shout out here to a few folks that are watching along as well. Why not? Good to see you, Homer. Good to see you, Jiu-Jitsu Guy. Good to see you, Dan Ernst. Good to see you, Kim. Those last three, all of which are ghosts, having been sacrificed, bleeding out their sangria onto the gamma ramp to help increase the price of GME. Doing an excellent job, so they were with all of that. We've also had a couple of super chattels come in throughout the show, which I just there now, which I am very, 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 very grateful to see. Thank you so much for that. Nice to see you in here, Sai, and nice to see you in here, Traceborn, like I say, as well. Good to see you, Brady Pearl, and all you good folks. So thanks so much for joining along. Not seeing what people are trading in here. Of course, we did get an answer from Katie Babes, the same one as the homework. I don't even know what that was called. Something like Cystitis Technologies, something like that. We see D Harker, DXY breaking significant support, small caps pumping, LFG, Liverpool Football Club. Excellent stuff. Texas self-touching person says, good morning, you beautiful person. Excellent stuff. Thanks so much for that. I really want to read your names out, read the names out and stuff perfectly. But I think, wouldn't it be cool if I tried not swearing? I think I've already probably broken that a few times already today. You know me, you know how it's doing. Jamie asking in here, what's Vet doing? Good question. Le bon question, mon frère. Cherchez news. Maintenant, pour les... I mean, I really don't speak French. I mean, that's the truth. I really don't speak any French. So it's pretty hard for me to just kind of make up French stuff as if I do speak it, when the truth of it is that I don't. So yeah, let's have a quick look at VET, have a quick look at the DXY. What is DXY? People are asking. It is, of course, the it's, of course, some sort of joke to do with southern states. Dixie's a thing down there. Dixie. What was that TV show? Something about Dixie. Something Dixie. Was it Summer from the OC went on to be in a show called The Heart of Dixie? Is that right? Is that a show? She likes a smoky eye makeup. You know the one? Right. I think that was a show on TV or some such. Wow, Dixie. What did you say about Dixie, by the way, as it happens in the chitter chatter? Dixie breaking significant support, small caps pumping, Liverpool Football Club. So significant support being in it around about this area. That's the 15-minute time frame. Let's take a look up at this one. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! I'll see here. There's this significant level support. See, this is the 4-hour time frame. It's look at that for sort of an idea. Over here, take it off log, put it on log, take it off log, put it on log. This thing just shuddering around not changing this idea. So here we have this idea. A lot of people will be looking at this one, breaking significant support. We're going to be looking for closures, opens and closures below this area with an inability to break back if there is any retest, because we saw this happen in the past. So just be aware of the need for any sort of movements below this general sort of region to fail any retests. Just be aware of the need for opens and closes at any and any fails of retests, as we could continue like before. I suppose would be one of the points to be putting out about this one right here in here. So we've got this laid out for us, pretty neat, but we can also do another one. I'll get a different colored line on here so you can get a kind of an idea about what's going on with regards to there being two kind of different ideas on this chart. So I'll just pop that as a blue one. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So what is the range here? We'll just do our measured move today. Instead of doing a straight line measured move, I'm doing it like a Tasmanian whirlwind because I want people to see that this is, of course, this is what we're measuring, is this price action, and take it a little bit less in terms of just the sheer geometry of it, which is what it would be if I just did a line down like that. Then it's kind of like, okay, so you measure the geometry. Yes, you do, but I'm just going to use this Tasmanian whirlwind instead to show us that it's what the geometry is measuring, of course, is this price action, to say, well, if there was a couple of different potential moves for us, let's just kind of say breaking outside of support resistance might see things moving around. So we could see 94 to 95. These things are huge, by the way, if you're trading in this. Like, these movements are fairly huge, if this is to happen. If we were to drop down to those regions, where we'd be looking at, just kind of as a rough kind of eyeball style, just an eyeballing it style support resistance zone, you'd have this. You've got this in here. There is this region where we obviously tested it and failed, I guess you could say. It's not the best support and resistance zone in the world. Line, sorry. I kind of Freudian slipped myself into saying zone just there. So if we were to actually instead think about it along the lines of this box, just right now for me, looking between these two zones instead of just this is obviously your highway to the danger zone. because beyond that you'd be looking, of course, into the Derby Dragons area. So this is what I would look to. Instead of just a line, it'd be a zone. And the handy thing about this is that it also goes together with the textbooks for movements outside of these areas, because really what you're looking for is a chunk of this move, not the entire move itself, really, to be trading it in terms of where the risk opportunities exist with this one. Now, Bulkowski himself, when he wrote his textbook, The Encyclopedia of Trading Patterns, didn't actually make loads of reference to risk management during the book. Instead, just talking about price movements as a result of corresponding patterns that repeat across time. And then was saying where you would look to for your price targets on them, and presented it that way around. Absolutely fair. But in a sense, this idea of can the prices move the full length of the measured move is expressed really beautifully here, I feel, in terms of this potential for the zone here for where things could turn around at. Because, of course, the textbook from Bulkowski would say that your price target for this one would be down at 93,737, essentially, or something like that, or 90 about there, and leaving that kind of final 40% on the table for those really eager beavers looking to have that kind of that hungry hippo buying up stuff there. If this were to happen, then you'd be looking at you know, a full expression of that measured move, and that's beyond what you look for in the textbooks. And a good reason for that is simply quite, you know, typical of movements whenever they're changing their conditions. So Scott Carney would talk about the harmonic pause, etc., that would happen, and then how you would go down the way towards a target. Whoops. That wasn't this is not the line you're looking for, right? So you would go down towards a target, and then what he would do is he would call this target here T1, because that's, of course, your first target there, essentially. And then you'd also then expect, or not expect, but be aware of the extreme risk of a movement back up the way to give you a retest, which would be a retest of the breakout area. Up there, if it did that, which is, of course, you know, constitutes as well for a lot of people a second bite. This is a phrase I use all the time. A lot of people do bite of the cherry. It's a cliche after all. Yeah. Right, so that's obviously what that would represent there. And then afterwards, you'd be looking down towards your T2 targets, and that would be a T2 target right here, probably, for us. In terms, at least conceptually, now the measurements for these being different, Scott Carney wouldn't be looking at it from that type of point of view. It rather, actually, I dare say that he'd make a couple of different points along the way. One of the things that we'd be looking to most likely in terms of significant movements would be to say that if during this phase of price action where you have your T1s and T2s as laid out using different psychology about this, you do actually successfully push down past that 236, then, you know, well, I mean, it would be me that would be saying that you've got a valid Fibonacci. I'm not 100% sure what Scott Carney thinks about that in that sense. But I'd be saying you have a valid Fibonacci there, and you could be aiming to the. I'm just trying to make it so that the numbers are easiest to view. By the way, as I do this right now, you could be aiming to go to significant Fibonacci areas after you have taken out the 236. So the 236 is written over here next to the price point. You can see that the price on the y-axis, handily enough, as you can see, is at 93.94. It might be a bit small on your screen to see that, but you'll be looking down towards the, you know, the 93.567, 93.257, and then 92.948 to 92.864. Just here to be challenging these targets should you see that actually happen. So be aware right now that this is kind of the phase. So when we're in this zone, what are we asking, and how are we asking questions in this zone? Let me just take you through this process real quick here to show you in terms of the psychology at breaking past the sort of an area in it around about this time, how you would have, of course, had the ability to think during this phase that there was a sort of decent M over the overall here, of some form or another. It could have been from a Bulkowski type point of view, where you're looking at those golden arches there and saying, ba-da-bam-bam-bam, Adam and Eve. I'm loving it, Adam and Eve in it. I'm fig leafing it over here with the Adam and Eve. That might be what you might have been thinking with regards to this little sort of doubly top area and the significant neckline confirmation line over here. Now that would be how you'd been looking at it like that. But what if you'd been taking it from the low just down here from a Scott Carney point of view? Since we're doing the battle of the famous people here, we can do sort of that type of idea. Maybe you'd be looking to here. Ultimately, though, this was the higher area, so you'd be looking up to there in terms of your high, etc. Down here, this is of course your low, and then you'd have had a harmonic pattern on the go. Now you could have looked at this as well, just in the kind of just trying to piece things together along these lines, you know, with this type of mentality, like where could we be going, etc. You might have been looking down towards these sorts of zones, depending on where exactly you tie things in from. You can see this actually corresponds with closely to the Gartley formation here, where you'd have the Adam and Eve forming the A and C point of your Gartley. Excuse me for getting extremely advanced with my education right now. But then if you're using that point right there, you might have been hoping to see a C point coming in here with in around about this zone, where of course is where we see the failure of the Gartley, which is actually a better measured out Gartley coming in here from your X to your A to your B point here, floating around there. Hoping to have seen a C point in here, you know, just if you're very, very, very early measuring this, to then go down to a D point here. Obviously, that's not the way that this is. It just simply isn't. It just simply isn't, because those, you can't really do your measurements so early on and all the rest of it to have got that to happen. Either way, you're looking in this zone and saying, are we seeing something that could see this prices turn around, and finding that we actually, you know, reversed? So we can bear that in mind. How would we be looking for this? And if we know that there's something in this region of sort of like a 60% failure on these to not actually do the break to the downside. There's 60% of the time they just fail. They don't actually do it. They don't correspond to the way the pattern is. How would this pattern work in terms of its correspondence? Well, it normally breaks towards the downside, but this is more, these types of patterns where structures get tighter and tighter are described as not so much failing. I suppose it could be failing, but it could be that it breaks towards the top side or the downside, which means that you could, of course, take your measured move here and just pop one on up above. I'll take that original sort of Tasmanian whirlwind one that I'd used there, pop it up above and show you that measured move would look something like that, taking up towards that 95 area, and like I say, those significant moves. So it wouldn't so much be failure, it'd just be a question of where they go. Statistically, the likelihood of these things is that they would break towards the downside, and by that, what's that really mean? Well, it's a sort of 60-40 split, more or less, with regards to how these things would often go, and you'd be looking in and saying, well, what are you really doing? Well, this is actually called playing the breakout of a trade. So you'd be playing the breakout. I mean, there's lots of ways of kind of naming this, but this is how you could this is what you could do to call this here on this one. Did you pay attention to that sentence? This is what you could be doing to call this here on that one. I think I just said. Anyway, so this is what you could do to be calling that one there on this one, playing the breakout, and that'll be the title of our little kind of our little sort of thing here that we've made, our sort of our infographic is playing the breakout, because that's currently what we're asking. So what conditions would you be looking to see on playing this breakout towards the top side? Because what we currently have, of course, would be like a wedge, and you'd be saying, well, hey, you know, have we had 3 touches and failed to break down, heading back up towards top end of wedge after 3 touches and a failure, is quite bullish. But we are currently witnessing it testing significant levels of support, just to quote D there. No, I mean, we could be looking at different time frames and everything else, but I think this is the picture that people kind of need to see with regards to Dixie right now. We're currently witnessing it testing significant levels of support. So, we will get some clarity on this one soon, within the next day or so, for sure. You know, we're like, it looks to be the case in terms of where we are right now. You know, now we could obviously go on for more touches within this this phase of price action just here, and if we do more touches of this phase of price action just here, be aware that then what you're looking at is things like this, where actually, because this second touch here as it stands is a very generous second touch, it isn't actually, there's not a second touch at all. This is why I say there's 1 2 3 at the bottom and 1 2 at the top. Let me just label that out so you can see, or just draw it out so you can see there's 1 2 touches at the top and 1 2 3 at the bottom. However, if we were to actually get this to go back up to the top and fail here and go down the way, what you're literally looking at is this wedge here instead. Now, if you've got that wedge versus that wedge, what does that mean? This is the final point that I'll be making on this TA just here, because it is now the sort of pure unadulterated education at this phase, and it's again, like we sort of realized yesterday, etc., where there can be too much of that at a certain time. So you've got this concept, so there's a green concept, blue concept, and this is of course highly educational. So I just want to kind of make sure that we finish off here so that there's a clear delineation between the different zones of this show today so far, so you can understand that this is very much a highly educational section. We've got this green, blue, and red line here, and they mean a few different things, right? So starting off, just so you know, that in terms of patterns such as wedges, ascending triangles, and so on. If price action itself, price action is continues within the pattern shape, it is said to be sort of overextended, overextended or extended, just extended within the zone. Or, it's becoming a bit extended, and then if it breaks out early, then it is considered to be front running. So when you're looking at these different dynamics, there's also a different interplay between those colored lines. Just so you know, then typical break is about let's just say 70% in or so, right? So when you're pushing beyond that, then you're looking at a different condition, right? So let me just point out that this, in terms of front running, etc., could be seen in a couple of different ways, right? So if you have this wedge, like I spoke about first off, with 2 touches towards the top side and 3 along the bottom. In this current setup, this is the green line at the top and the green line at the bottom. I'll actually remove this little waving around yellow line that's in there, because it kind of is a slight distraction from what we're talking about in this little bit of analysis. So just so you can see real quick, I'll get rid of some of these other little kind of drawings that we've used so far to give you a bit more clarity in this particular zone, and zoom in a little bit more so that it dominates the screen. In here, right, you've got 3 different lines. You've got this top line, which has got 2 touches on it, the green one. In a typical wedge, etc., or pattern like this, you're really looking for 2 touches along the top side, as this green line is shown, and 3 touches along the bottom side as the green line down below is shown, and that would be typical. Now, if we were to actually instead go up and touch this top area and push on down below again, what you would say about the green line, the green triangle, is that it's become overextended, when in actual fact, if you look here, this second not touch, the non-touch, the one that didn't count as part of the green one, giving it 1 2 at the top as opposed to 1 2 3, the second touch would then form part of a wedge, changing it from you being in an overextended, because this would be overextended, and you're not really going to get the move that you're looking for. It kind of sucks at that point. Instead, actually, instead of considering yourself to be within an overextended green wedge, you should probably instead consider yourself to be appropriately positioned within this blue wedge. 1 touch, 2 touches, 1 touch, 2 touches, up again, 3 touches, and you'd be looking at it coming down again for that 4th and then potential breakout when it hits this one. In the same way that if we go up towards the top side, we're looking for that 4th touch or the 3rd touch up here, the 6th overall touch to be where we're getting the breakout at again. Here you can see that dynamic played. Incredibly interesting, isn't it? How an overextended pattern on the one side could in fact just be a regular pattern on the other. Now over here as well, there's the other way of looking at things. If we actually just see prices kind of more or less turn around from where they are here in this general zone, and I'll just kind of draw this in again using a box. Excuse me if I sneeze in the next couple of seconds. I'm trying extremely hard not to. Oh, it wasn't the brush tool I was looking for. It was the square. If we were to actually be in around about this zone just here, as laid out with this white kind of square with the red line as the top side and this green line at the lower end, then you're looking, of course, at an ascending triangle. Typically, they have positive breakouts towards the top end, but you could see things become extremely, consolidated within this period of time if we were to be consolidating up here at the top end. So if we're doing something that wasn't typical within a wedge, wasn't necessarily typical, like say for example, we're coming up here and we were operating like this in here, well, not necessarily that in there, sorry, I aimed that wrong. Yeah, right, that's just in me back here. We're operating like this. Then maybe, of course, we're consolidating at the area of resistance of an ascending triangle, and there's this different interplay between these potential areas for us. So just being able to identify them in advance and hopefully not get sort of information overload and get confused helps you understand exactly whether or not you are overextended within a triangle. For instance, for this type of idea, you would say your typical breakout point would be around about this region, where maybe perhaps you're looking towards the top side or the downside. However, you've moved into this zone and you're actually overextended. We'll perhaps consider the point that perhaps you're actually operating it within a shape like this. A shape like this within this phase of time, and that you're not overextended. And another way of looking at it as well, and that final point that I was going to make, is that if you actually did break out early on, then you maybe aren't in that pattern. I'll kind of finish this off by coming back over and saying that there's plenty of typical examples of this sort of a thing. So often when you see Adam and Eve's, and I talk about these all the time, they turn into things like descending triangles, or indeed they can fail, break out immediately, or break out down below. So let me just show you here down below with this price action. If you had prices operating like this, then they would be considered to be an Adam and Eve, with your Adam and your Eve perhaps here. Now that's maybe a bit too M looking, but we can do it like this. So then, okay, so maybe you've got something like that, and that's really typical Adam and Eve type structure. And you'd be saying, well, maybe this is an Adam and Eve. Here's your Adam, here's your Eve. We're going for a move like this, typical, kind of similar to a Head and Shoulders. And then if you were to, of course, break that out immediately, what actually is that? Well, that's, of course, a front run, a descending triangle. And a front run descending triangle, then, of course, you are going to be looking, and it's that dynamic again that plays at play as to how much of this move you're necessarily looking for whenever you're talking about the full range from up here. Now, the typical Adam and Eve, you only are looking for that 60%, etc. And with these front run triangles, but you might be looking for it to go down, immediately, or else, of course, you got their other idea where you come back up and you retest this zone, and then you break down the way. It's all kind of as determined by that 60% zone that you're looking for anyway. It's all kind of low roads lead back to Rome, as you can see, including concepts such as the idea of whether or not you are doing any of this type of stuff with regards to typical breakouts, etc., of these consolidations. Look out for the different ways that this could be operating. Thanks so much for your message, D. This has been an interesting one. I hope people have enjoyed this little sort of section of the education. I think it's been fairly intense. We've covered quite a lot. What sort of time are we dealing with here? It is now 3:10. Pretty cool. I think that was pretty good. Let's just jump on over to the chat and see what everybody else thinks about that, and how we're getting on. I hope there wasn't any sort of technical issues or anything like that during this little phase here, because I think that was fairly neat. Let's see what you think. Let's see what you think. So yeah, let me know what you think. Oh dear, I hope that wasn't a response to me. I know it wasn't. It came more than 30 seconds ago. Let me know what you think about that there style. I'll go and take a look at VET. I'll go check back in with GME again, I suppose, and then I'll get around to tuning out. If you do actually want me to look at anything specifically, then do as D did and ask with super chat or some such. We also have Champ Eon came in with $5. Net let's just see here what you said exactly. Sorry. NFTCon tweet. Today is all about game day. G with a capital letter and the EM of game with capital letters. Unknown speaker at 4:20 p.m. today. That's cool. That's cool, I guess. Unknown speaker. Whoa. Let's be fair, guys. They would be unknown even if you knew what their name was until they actually got up and started speaking. Look at me, for instance. I'm Rocky Outcrop, pretty much unknown YouTuber. D Harker, thank you for this excellent high-level education. Oh my fecking goodness, 4269, 4269. Did we get another weed leaf in there? We bloody well should have. It looks like an AMC. So disappointing when the numbers machine doesn't give you what you're looking for. D, thanks so much, man. Really appreciate it. That's what we do here. Rising tide lifting all ships. D, straight up sponsoring that section here on behalf, really, of kind of everybody else watching along. Not everybody necessarily is going to have been able to follow along with all of that. It did accelerate along the whole thing, or maybe it just started off curly fast and kept going, but that's where we are with that stock. I mean, that's the analysis on it. You're really not going to get anything better than that. There could be other things you could do. There's tons of them. I talk about it all the time. All roads lead to Rome, after all. Let's actually just do a couple of extra little things, let's just do a couple of extra things. Let's just take a look at USDJPY, for example. Over here, look at it on FCXM, and we can see this big movement up that we've had in USDJPY. This is, of course, JPY, the Japanese yen, being that sort of so-called safe haven in terms of Forex, right? When you're looking at Forex, you're looking at risk on in America, a decreased risk on appetite in America, and delivering that with an increase in the demand for the old JPYs. Etc. Whereas over here you can see the US dollar has been performing really well against Japan, which is people taking some of that entering more into that risk on environment. Over there in Stockland, as we spoke about already, I was looking and saying, have we got to the point where we're, across a very broad term, we're looking at this getting a bounce here anyway. In terms of the shorter term, we're looking at this kind of upward sloping green line over here, having had a negative reaction and continuing on up the way. So we're seeing that potential area for us for a turn in appetite to equities. Will this hold out for us here? 1360 currently at AHT. Plenty of other stocks. Will AMAT be able to continue to potentially challenge outside of this downward sloping zone, or will it go back into it? Right here, right now, you can see that we've been doing exactly like we spoke about with regards to AMAT. So we've got all the questions for the day laid out, and all of this links back to Dixie as well. All roads, my friends, lead to Rome. We are but plankton in an ocean of ever-flowing financial instruments around the world, where there is absolute interdependency in a globalized economy. And this is the sorts of things that you can look to as well for additional information. Yes, that's right. Oh my goodness, Rocky. You just went and looked at some sort of completely different things when you're trying to make a point about the value of the US dollar, and then as well looking at Forex, safe havens, and the equities and risk on appetites, all in a little sort of 2-minute section again there. Yeah, I did. Shout out to chapter makers. There's one for you. So chat, these fundamentals don't care about your shitcoins or NFTs, says D Harker. Some NFT news would be good, but if it has any relation at all to dividends and it's not announced to the stock market at the same time as any public announcement, then GME will be breaking the law. So yeah, this is something we talked about a lot on the channel. but don't worry about it too much. That's just a random person talking about something. It's no big deal. So anyway, here we have it. The first glance chart looks interesting. Leptin. Wait, you're talking to each other? You're not even talking to me? Oh my goodness. So to see GME make a statement at an NFT.com without making any other info would be absurd. Absolutely. We've talked about this a bunch in the channel. Don't indulge too much in that type of chat. Jimmy, you've already done more than enough education on that front in the chat here today. So that's cool. So we'll just, that's cool where we are. I like the concept of NFTs, but the prices on some of these things are fairly unreasonable. That's very true. Started by the biggest people in the world, says somebody. That's great. So nobody's actually on topic at the minute. Back up there to that, DXY, LBS1, and TNX are all that matter to me right now. Thanks for your thought there, Rich. No problem. No problem, D. Thanks. Yeah, Christy jumping in as well to show support to D for that. What a legend. So that's some good stuff, right? So I can do a couple extra little things here for us as well. You've got a futures contract as part of that there, chat. You can recognize them when somebody when the ticker's got that one exclamation mark. So what was it? LBS one extra random length number of futures. Discount, getting a discount on, you're getting a discount on this one, D. Look out for the discount on this one, right? Okay. Discount incoming. Okay. Already had a bit of a discount, but there'll be a little bit more. That'd be my opinion, just straight off, just without doing any of it, without getting super complicated. TNX. Dynamite. Oh, sugar. The bingo machine should have been going off for that one. Well, looks like in today's briefer show, 3:20, we'll be skipping the bingo today on those ones. I really appreciated with those larger donations that have just come in. It's, from D saying thanks, that's really appreciated. And Texas Wanker here, Stam, I didn't mean to say your name. Oh well, whatever. I'm trying not to swear, but I reckon I've sworn a whole bunch of times without realizing it so far today. Could you explain to me the MMAT and the preferred stock MMTLP? Oh, right, really? Is that also publicly traded like that under a different QSIP? Interesting. So we have this. Yeah, wait. Essentially, with this one, this here is. Ooh. You don't need me to point out the divergences to you there, pal. At all. So this is one of those scenarios whereby it looks to be like it wants to come in and test off this area. There does seem to be a gap, by the way, that's worth pointing out in there as well. A couple other gaps as well along the way that are maybe worth pointing out. Interesting little things, but you've got this here zone in here. And this one here to be aware of. This here as support is going to be false. It's a typical false support that you've seen between two bearishly divergent tops, as we've talked about like numerous times on the channel. Be very cautious and around about that area. The 236 is going to be revealing for us in that front as well. As you can see, fake support in this zone. If you push down past it and you're testing it and you fail to recover immediately, that's fake support. You see it, you come down, you get a sort of bounce, but you don't really fully recover. What is that? What's happening at that time? Is that you're failing to take out the 236 typically in a movement like this, and you're looking to go on down towards at least challenging the 382, which is where that next gap is, right? Then beyond that, you're looking at coming down to actual support. As you can see, actual support the last time when we had this kind of overextended to talk about patterns, ascending triangle. So let me just kind of, since we've been on the pattern education front this morning today, so far we can talk about this one and show you that there's this overextended ascending triangle here. You could have been and you would have been and you should have been and you blah 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 blah, looking at a move that would have of course been like this one. But then of course when you see that we came up towards the 60% of the move area, what actually happened in here was that we saw a fairly significant pullback offering up a 7% ish drawdown in pricing, and then we've moved up towards here, and we could actually now at this stage go on to actually conduct a full retest of this previous pattern just here. Okay, so like they've got loads of stuff like that. You could obviously talk about this as being like a wedge, etc. as well. You could talk about it in all different sorts of ways, but that's just taking the next immediate opportunity to double down on the education that we've already done, as I like to do, because I know how conversations like this go when people get extended into discussions of things. Look at that gap. I'm aiming for the 618. Not that gap. Look at this, buddy. 4-hour time frame. Flash on the Rocky Outcrop DMI. Lines up with this breakout area. We just discussed concepts. This one here was an ascending triangle, which was overextended into zone. Look at all the different TA we've done to build us up to here. Man, I mean, this is it. This is it. This is it. This is what people tune in for. I don't actually give two craps that that's not anything that we've been talking about in the recent past with regards to any other stocks. I'm super glad that we're able to do technical analysis on that and to do it in a way that is helpful and educational to people, and on a fresh topic, a fresh thing, so that people don't become too overly familiar with one particular chart or one particular industry, one particular asset or one particular thing for trading. It's beautiful that you suggested to take a look at stuff which is different to the typical stuff. I'm sure everybody in the audience appreciates it. What does this show us anyway? For those of you out there suffering anxiety as to what whether or not we were on the charts or not, we've actually done what we were talking about at the start of the day. We did pull back down. We did fill in that gap. We did come up. We did test the 236. Now, what's actually happened, which maybe went perhaps without saying, is that we pushed up to, and I'm pretty damn sure I said that we needed to break the 180s. But anyway, we tested the 382. Back down again here. What did we do? We retested the gap, which was a more tempting retest, much more tempting retest than the 236 itself. Does it not make sense? I mean, you just think about the markets as not being completely random and chaotic all of the time, and think about how it's got like this degree of common sense that it would test here as opposed to the 236. When you fully understand the dynamics and the language of markets, and you're talking to this market saying, so why did you go down beyond the 236? And the market turns around to you and says, look, bro, there's that gap there. It's going to retest it. And then you go, aha, right enough. Yeah. Then you get it. Then it's making sense. Right now, of course, the struggle is real. Couple of wicks in the last couple of 15-minute candles showing us that we've been struggling, the real struggle of the 236. I could handhold you with this technical analysis throughout the entire day, as I handhold you at the start of every show. But instead, I'm going to leave that with you. I'm going to leave that with you for you to look at yourself. We do some good work on this TV show, this YouTube show. We do some good work here, and I would encourage people who enjoy what they see to tune back in again. We do this together every single day. Right now, live in the Discord, there is a group of people discussing the current trades that they're making who are watching along here. Shout out to you. Hope you're doing well. Ha ha ha. Rocky's talking about us guys. Oh my goodness, yeah, he's talking about us again. Yeah, I'm talking about you guys. Hope you're doing it. Hope you're doing well. Having a good day in there. And yeah, great. So that's happening right now. Are you there doing that? You don't need to be, of course. You're here and you're enjoying this show, but this is all part of the Rising Tide and the community which has so many different things on the go in there. If you would like to meditate in the mornings, then be sure to join us for that. There are meditation sessions that happen in the mornings in the Discord now, resuming after a little bit of a hiatus following on from storm thingy-jiggy there that happened a few weeks back that caused a heck of a lot of flooding across the eastern seaboard. I hope you do enjoy that sort of thing, and if you want to join in and tune in for one of those, I myself will be trying to make it there. I can't guarantee that I will this week, but I will try and make it there a few times soon to take part in Eddie's session. If I miss that one, or I'm too early UK time, etc., and they're not at beds, maybe I'll do my own session at what would be like 4 a.m. US time, something like that, or I'll do my own session at just after or whatever. But it's something that I want everybody to know is there. so that you can use it if you want to be a part of that, that side of things. It doesn't need to exist exclusively in that room. It doesn't need to be a clique either. So maybe we can discuss as well with everybody, whether or not we need that room. Or not. You know, there are other rooms where we can post things like in the nature room, etc. Nature, very, very connected to meditation, of course, because well, I'm not going to talk about it, but right. So we could do that, or we continue to keep the meditation rooms all up to all yous, you know, because we want to have as few sort of cliques as possible and as much access as possible, you know. But we'll definitely keep we'll definitely keep, you know, access to all the tools we need to run it, or we just keep the room. Who knows? You let me know. But there's that out there. Just there's so much happening essentially in the community all the time. I hope you all enjoyed Tadpole Games last night. Now shout out to Guitar Outside if you're watching as well. Shout out to you, pal. Well done, the greatest ever runner-up in Tadpole Games. Got a question coming in here from Christy. What is that you're drinking? This is Rockstar Energy Drink X Durance. Is blueberry, pomegranate, and acai energy drink. It's got 200 milligrams of caffeine. It's got taurine and guarana in there, as well as your B vitamins. It tastes quite disgusting. It's like a blue ice pole. I was excited to try it because I wanted to try it. I needed it, to be honest with you, although, my goodness, these energy drinks are bad, right? They're bad. They're bad. So cool. Tadpole Games, indeed. It was amazing. NFT Con is sillier than Ape Fest. It totally sounds like a load of shit to me. Please, you know, don't make me ask again. Stop talking about this on the channel. So thinking a million miles an hour to keep up. Thinking a million miles an hour to keep up. KP, you don't need to think that fast. Maybe you do. That's it, probably. What's Paler Dog talking about up there? Rockstar Endurance. Oh my goodness, how did you manage to guess that? It's X-Durance though. So close. Cannot endorse that drink. It's crap. Honestly, there's much nicer ones available. Unless you like that sort of thing, in which case, go for it. What's it like? It's like WKD Blue without the alcohol. I mean, that's what they're going for. Essentially, you want to make your WKD Blues at home wicked blue. It's a drink, an alcopop drink we've got in the UK here. It's a blue one. This, of course, the color of this is purple, but it doesn't matter. You want to make your WKD Blue at home. It'll be a purple color, but, you know, you add your own vodka. That's the one to do it with. That's the one to do it with. Save your monies. Enjoy it at home. There is a chap on Discord. There's actually 1,500 or so people on Discord. Easily 4 or 5 whatever, a few hundred consistently active people that on there. Yeah, I'm not going to drink much of these. This is purely a way of compensating for not getting enough sleep at nighttime. This is what I mean. I was just talking there. Don't worry, guys and girls. I was just talking there a minute ago about how I will be trying to do morning meditation sessions. You know, you don't. I have other, and I'll be joining in with Eddie's ones as well when I get the chance. You know, Eddie's such a great guy. We shout out to you, Eddie, if you're watching. I'll be joining with them as another approach to kind of resolving it. I don't want to drink this stuff. People who watch the show for years have seen that I don't actually do that. In fact, I don't actually consume caffeine. This has been a stopgap, temporary measure to get me to cope with what's going on here. So that's all that is. Right. Yes. Who you will respond to tags and he's a legend. Who's that? Is that me? Who is this? He has been rocky since the first week, so it's not me. It must be Nav and Ethan. Yes, Nav and Ethan knows everything everybody wants to know about NFTs. Absolutely. Just take advantage of these resources that are out there and try and get in touch with people. That's right. The world doesn't revolve around us. The present isn't the only thing. There is also the past, the future. We are an ever evolving, interconnected chain. So look back at all that. Get in touch with people. I love all things blueberry. I hate that's not good. Yeah, I know. Exactly. That's why I was excited about it. Look, it kind of is good. It's good in a way. Like, I don't want to start liking this thing, because I don't know where my life will end up if I start liking this thing. You know, it's good. It's almost good, but it's not. I wanted it to be magic, and it isn't. And the magic that I could put in there would come in the form of convincing myself it's magic through addiction. So it's got the same thing that's good. This is about as good as smoking cigarettes. Is right. Did you try sleep sounds? Yeah, white noise and all that. I do like it. I've also got a secondary glazing window which just arrived today to make it quieter from outside. It's other stuff than that. It's like, you know, it's things like the worry that my bathroom ceiling's going to collapse on me, that the neighbors are ignoring me, that the packages that people are sending me aren't arriving, the constant pressure of performing live on television and stuff like that. You know, it's all those sorts of things. And on top of, you know, a long running bad sleep routine and having killed off my circadian rhythms and operating it with American time frame for so many things. I mean, it's got a lot. There's a lot to it, right? But yeah, I've tried a bit of the old rain noise in that as well. Right, Dream Trader, Dream Trader, Dream a Trader, Dream. You're saying the word cola. I don't know why. Right, so yeah, Dream Trader. Right, that's cool. So no donations coming in to take a look at other stocks. At this point, I wouldn't do it for free anyway. So you know, so I'm not looking at that. Could you explain to me MMAT and the preferred stock MMTLP? Let's just take a look at this MMTLP on here. Metamaterials Inc. Let's see it as well. It started trading on the 7th of October. There, so they released some. So sorry, man. I'm Texas Wanker. I'd like to be able to explain specifically this to you, but I didn't know about this one. That only really seems to have been traded, you know, since this week. It's some news that I've not really looked out for, so I could look for that. These are preferred shares. Maybe they'll trade for a wee while and then no longer be around. I really don't know what their plans are for them. There could be various different ways of you know, different plans for this thing. You've got MMAT over here itself, having had a nice rise over the last couple of 15-minute periods. Have a nice rise since the 7th of October when those preferred shares came out into existence and pulled back down the way. So in a sense, the preferred shares existence, in a sense, explains this price action to a degree. So MMTLP, MMAT, let's just see if there's any sort of news about this one. I'm not going to look at YouTube videos from random tubes. They'll be crap, whatever they say, and no doubt about it. So instead we'll go to wait. Where's my news thing? More news, thanks. Torchlight Energy heads towards a merger with Metamaterials. Oh, is this how it's working? So this is excuse me. What's going on with MMTLPT ticker is not on there. 16th of June. Is this related to this merger? Ticker. No. QSIP. No, they're not talking about it in there. Exchange material 3.6. That's happened already. Torchlight. Blah blah blah. That's all old. So it's not to do with that. Is it in this page though? Find MMT. It's not, is it? What's going on with MLTLP? Says your wife's boyfriend. Thanks for selling your leg, by the way, to that guy. That's great guy. Harold Ramis, what's going on with the price dislocation? There's another one, MMATF. That's another OTC effort. Right. So really, you know, the way that you'd look at this is you'd go and look at the product disclosure. You'd look at the information. There are informations about this. I mean, like what you would do. This is the sort of thing which is the ideal question for like FU. Shout out to FU Money. Who you know likes to look at all the different potential buttons that you could be pushing on your trading view to find out about the fundamentals of stuff, and maybe this would be one of the places you could find out about it. Metamaterials engages in the manufacture and development of functional materials, its technology platform, blah blah blah. So that's what that is. So let's just use Google again here. What are MMTLP preferred shares? So it's going to be down to the specifics of that thing. So where's this? Is on Reddit. I'm not going to read that either. Does not divide value. What's this? Unipricum.com. Some totally random website I've never heard of before. So we'll look here. Seems to be people talking as well, so it's probably off a Reddit copy. Adjusted Materials Inc. So here we have it from some. Oh, it's a PDF. All right, we'll look at this PDF. The Foundation for Secure Markets, Adjusted Materials, further adjusted option symbol, further adjusted option symbol, MMAT. Effective October 8th, MMTLP component of MMAT1 options exercise. This is a component of MMATP1. So that's it's a different thing. Right, look, just like first off, metamaterials themselves, right, just on the as a company has maturity, right? So the first answer to your question is, here's a company which has got a degree of maturity about it. Okay, it's been around for a while. It's been around for a while. So there's that, and it has various different things about it. So that's there's what was it? Was it MMAT1? Was it what was it? The guy said here, it was MMAT1. Is that not over here as well? MMAT1. So it's not, right? Sound, screw it. That's fine. Don't need it to be. Was subject to broker settlement settlement. TLP shares. Oh yeah, QSIP. Sorry, QSIP. I got the QSIP thing wrong there. What was it? Looking like a moron. Are now. I hate looking like a moron too. Gah, really. Are now eligible for settlement at the National Securities Clearing Corporation. As a result, all exercise and assignment activity for MMTLP component of MMAT auctions as October 12, 2021 will be no longer subject to broker settlement. What this is just using the new NSCC clearing thing. What was it they called it? Gosh, the NSCC what's the continuous net settlement? Yes, it's brought into the continuous net settlement thing, but it was with the thing that happened a couple months ago with whatever. Basically, mate, right, so to explain this to you then, having done the research now, MMTLP is a derivative which is of MMAT shares. They are futures options contract which is settled through the NSCC as a result of the mechanisms the NSCC has put in place to remove counterparty risk between broker to broker exchanges, which was formerly the MMAT1 share, which was created as a result of the Torchlight shares, which were merged into MMAT, and it's just a part of the overall functional dynamic of whenever two companies, which are two entirely separate business entities, get merged together, and they're doing it through the mechanisms that exist in the United States to diminish counterparty risk while operating in a publicly tradable way and complying with all the relevant legislation and laws around that to keep it a free and open market for everybody. And that's what's going on with this one. And you can see that it's the case with this chitter chatter in here with this document that came out. Adjusted Metamaterials Inc., formerly Torchlight Energy Resources Inc., MMAT1 options were adjusted on June 23rd, 2021, and again on June 28, 2021. Am I on the wrong screen? I am bloody well on the wrong screen. I hope I've not been on the wrong screen the entire time, missing out on these things here, but this is what we were looking at. I think I have been on the wrong screen the entire time, so I've probably been looking in the wrong place. But anyway, we've got this document just here which shows us exactly what it's all about that I've been talking about here for the last wee while. And you can see effective October 8, 2021, MMTLP component of MMAT1 options exercise assignment activity was the subject to broker-to-broker settlement. See OCC information memo 49379. MMTLP shares QSIP 59134N203 are now eligible for settlement at the National Securities Clearing Corporation, NSCC. As a result, all exercise and assignment activity for the MMTLP component of MMAT1 options as of October 12, 2021 will no longer be subject to broker-to-broker settlement. Will no longer be subject to broker-to-broker settlement. Will no longer be subject to broker-to-broker settlement. Exercise and assignment activity from October 12, 2021 and thereafter for the MMTLP component of MMAT1 options will sell through the NSCC. Adjusted Metamaterials Inc., formerly Torchlight Energy Resources Inc., MMAT1 options were adjusted on June 23, 2021 and again on June 28, 2021. See the OCC information memos 48884 and 48904. The deliverable became 1. 50 Meta Materials Inc. MMAT common shares and 2. 100 Torchlight Energy Resources Inc. shares A preferred shares. So the preferred shares were subject to delayed settlement due to their unknown trading status. On October 6, 2021, the Series A preferred shares began trading on an OTC market under the name Metamaterials Inc. and trading symbol MMTLP. OTC market, which is cleared by the National Securities Clearing Corporation, the NSCC. And they are, of course, the MMTLP is, of course, the component of the MMAT1 options, and of course that's settled through that to remove the counterparty risk, etc. And we know that the Adjusted Metamaterials Inc., which was formerly Torchlight Energy Resources, MMAT1 options are that component up there, and that's what that is. Okie dokie. So now you know. Now you know, bro. Excellent stuff. I hope that helps somebody out there. I don't really know. If you're thinking to yourself, this has got something to do with MOAS, blah, 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 it doesn't. If you're thinking to yourself, this is a really good, interesting question to ask people who are interested in financial markets and worth exploring and figuring out what it was that went on there and relating that back, of course, relating that back to the, the raison d'etre for the NSCC in the first place. And of course, all of the rules that it's been putting in there and increasing its relevant counterparty risk options available for people in the world, and of course the fact that Metamaterials and Torchlight were both American companies operating within American markets and have just merged, then that's your answer, pal. Thanks so much for the question. It was a good one. Right. By the way, we're done here, folks. If anybody wants to do any of that donation crap, it's appreciated. If anybody wants to do any of that donation stuff and whatever, then this is the time to do it, because I'm tuning out in 5 minutes. I'll be doing the reverse roll call and all that soon. I've got a couple of little channel updates that are coming along. Katie Babes and other people out there in the world of teaching might recognize this thing. It is, they might not. It is the Time Tracker Mini. It's a learning resources product. And what it'll do whenever I actually get batteries for it, damn thing arrived without batteries. I have to buy them. I forgot, so I'll probably miss out on delivery from Amazon today, etc. I'll try and get them figured out sometime for next week's shows. Is a little timer thing. So whenever somebody does the donation, etc., I'll be able to turn this around, have it on screen just here, or where would it be on screen actually? Well, just here. There, just there, for instance, or whatever, and then this thing will flash red and green, and that to let me know, make a little beep noise so I know that I've done the 5-minute section, all this sort of stuff to try and Pavlov dog myself into getting kind of better at timing and all that sort of stuff. 2 minutes on CHPT, please, says Tradespawn. Okay, we'll do that before I go. Have a good day, Rocky Outcrop. Much love to you. Kim, Shepherd of Unicorns. Thanks for the wrinkles, Rocky. You're welcome. All the teacher resources. Yes, all of them. They're in there. So that's good. I'm glad I did that. I'll take a look at this. Let me know if that was any use to you, by the way, Texan Wanker, or what it was, where you read about it. Let me know where you read about it and what it is. I don't have a doubt in my mind for a second that there'll be tons of information over here on Reddit with people discussing this sort of stuff too, full of very valuable information, just so we can see. I suppose we'll just kind of see what this is here. Reposting this, I just got off the phone with TD Ameritrade, making smart traders trade smarter or some pish like that. Totally not compared to what we do here. take TD America's trade slogan and apply it to ourselves, because that's what we've got going on. And they provided me some clarity, and it added 1 point of additional confusion regarding this thing. According to the rep, the change to MMTLP simply means that the preferred shares have now been delivered. He stated that he's seen the transfer of preferred shares take up to a year in other cases. This isn't a surprise. He did say that as of tomorrow, they should be tradable. Right, they are. When was that? 7 days ago. Okay, this is the point of confusion for me. Don't be confused anymore, boy. That's done. So anyway, though I can't imagine how to be valued. Well, they're what do you mean you can't imagine? You can't imagine? You should not be trading, pal. If you can't imagine how these things would be valued, you should not be trading. Don't trade, mate. Do not get involved. If you don't understand things, right? Okay, you're on your phone to TD Ameritrade, making smart traders smarter. But you're confused about how some things can be valued. Ooh. I tried to say, says restricted no joy. I put selling for 1 share at $100. MMTLP. Yep. So 190. The high has been up there at $3. I got 5K open. I put order in at 9.15. Filled 9.35. 95. Don't know what you're talking about. Webull and Fidelity both showing MMAT, of course, as well. There are 100 shares as well. So this is like RR. You know, a lot of people don't realize the RR symbol here, Rolls Royce. It does say at the top, Rolls Royce Holding Ordinary PLC Ordinary SHS 20P. But actually here it's priced at 148. It's because it's 100. It's 100 blocks of 100 shares. It's the minimum block size is 100 shares on this thing. So maybe that's how MMTLP is going. I don't know, right? See, the thing about it is, you might have noticed by the sound of my accent and stuff, I'm not actually from the States. It's just that it's just that I do the work. The final overstock ruling came out 2 weeks ago. Companies are allowed to use crypto dividends. Look it up, my friend. So what, man? Okay, cool. They're always been allowed to use crypto dividends. I mean, what? I mean, there's now legislation surrounding it. It's just before there wasn't. Whatever, mate. Whatever, whatever. So my TD just changed to MMTLP. Yeah, right. Sound great. Okie dokie. Quick question: will it mess up anything? I transfer my AMAT shares, my MMAT shares from Robinhood to Fidelity. Like, will that mess me up from receiving a dividend if I transferred now? God, man. No, you're entitled to your dividend. It might make things a little bit confusing as to who actually has the responsibility to deliver that to you, but it doesn't change your entitlement. RH customer support, if you can call those assholes and said it on the phone. I'm not reading that crap anymore. Right, brilliant. Brilliant. We just hold ourselves to a higher standard. That's all it is. So yeah, great. Back over to the chat screen. Maybe I've been on it the whole time. You've not had to witness that. In fact, I have. Or you could see it up here maybe when I was reading. Could you see it? Is that how that works? Could you see that? I have to bring that up on screen so I can see. So you can see me reading in the background. What did it look like on my screen? It looked like this sort of thing. So when I'm looking at a screen, that's what it looked like. So you saw me reading. Oh, you wouldn't have seen it scrolling or anything. Oh, that sucks. What an uninteractive experience for you. Moan. There you go. We just relived it. Right. Right. That was me moaning. Right. My TDs are jacked. Oh, that's good, Weezer. Amber, I can't copy and paste from phone. Dang it. Yeah, I know. It's so annoying. Calls on squats. Good point. Oh my God. Almost forgot. Can't believe it. Feckin' hell. Right. Before I abandon you into the wilderness, get on with it. Let's do some squats. Let's do 13 squats. And all that. I will actually boost it up to 14 when somebody, thank you, by the way, everybody. Thank you. I see it in the chat. I'm also going to do trade spottings. I'm going to take a look at whatever it was that TradeSpotting asked me to take a look at as well. What was it again? What was it? Thanks, Rocky. You're welcome. CHPT. I'll just write that in now so I don't forget. CHPT again. So don't forget again. So I'll be doing this before we tune out. I'll also take a quick look at VET. So yeah, I'll be tuning out within the next sort of 10 minutes though, I guess. I imagine that's what we're doing. Thanks for everybody seeing squats. That's cool. Yeah, we could see if if we could fulfilling see screen. I can't read right now. Cool seeing screen and Rocky. I like that. Hey. Hi, friends. Hi, friends. Squats! We don't do squoptions. We only squonks. Oh, we ain't letting you forget, lol. Red was getting a little sad about not seeing it. Really? Oh, I wonder how the Mighty Red's doing, by the way. It's been a wee while since he's been in the chat. Because our work schedules, it's hard for her to be here and everything else. And it was meant to be changing, but I don't know what's happened. So I wonder how she's doing as well with that. Stops spamming. Right. Ha! Yes, no. Stop spamming, says Sal, having been caught red-handed. Right. Quats, cost, chips, squats, cost, chips, chapters, costs, chapters, cost, chapters, squats, cost, chapters, squats, cost, chapters, cost, chapters, squats, chapters, cost. Great new chant for the cult, Sal. Fantastic. Cult leaders amongst you, cult lieutenants, cult captains, take a note of Sal's new song. Fantastic song. Culty to the max. Right. Oh, cost. Who's cost? I don't care about that. I've got no time to do TA on stuff I don't care about. Right. Back in a second. What? Rocky doesn't care about some stock? Yeah, sorry. I would care if somebody paid me to care. I'm going to do squats though. I care about them. Then I'm going to do the stuff that Jamie asked me to do, and then I'm going to say cheerio. Where do you want to do the squats at? Just here? Let's do the squats just here. I need a white screen like that for work. That thing is amazing. Yes. Right. 1. Don't let gravity do the work. Use your muscles. When you're down at the bottom here, be hanging in there. You should feel it in your hips. You should feel it in your thighs. You should feel it in your calves. And you should definitely be feeling it in your bottom. And you should push that and come back up again. Alright? Try and think about your core when you're using that, when you're doing this sort of stuff. Come on down here. Think about your core on the way down. Try and maintain a really even posture. This is the second one. This is really difficult squat style. Make sure your feet are well positioned, shoulder width apart. You can then use your hands for balance if you need to. Try and use your back muscles to keep your back nice and straight. Going down here, ass to the grass, people. But don't lever off your knees like this. Hold it using your muscles. That's 3 of them. Fucking hell. Gonna do them now for the rest of the time without talking so much. Whoa. The idea here, by the way, people, is to try and make the 13 squats that we're capable of doing the hardest 13 squats that we're capable of doing. Okay, it is about making it harder so that by the end you know that you're doing it well. You need to know you're doing it the right way. There's no point in doing 50 and for them and at the end to feel great, having not even tried at all. Instead, it'd be much more of an accomplishment to do the lowest number possible with the highest quality. Okay, so ideally you don't ever have to do 1 squat in your life, but that's not possible. So instead, maybe we can do 13 and make them pretty good. I can't remember how many I've done. I think it's 5. Activating every muscle on the way down and up, holding it. Gravity is just our witness, and here it is not an accomplice. Your body is moving down because your muscles are making it move down. Body is moving up because your muscles are making it move up. The whole time you're breathing, making sure that you breathe properly. None of this is for anything if you're not breathing. With the tense squat, don't let your form go to shit. Keep your back nice and straight and all. Use all your back muscles too. On the 11th squat here, remember you've got a core. Remember you've got a core, so you should use it. Oh, fucking hell. 12th one, I think maybe. Hold it down here for 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. If you can't feel any burn, then you're doing them wrong, or else you're really fit. And if you're really fit, then I'm not going to tell you what to do. If you can't feel any, if you're just doing them, you're not feeling anything, you're doing them wrong. Should be difficult. If it's not difficult, you're doing them wrong. Gravity is not your accomplice. Gravity is your enemy here. You're working on your own rules. This is my last one. Okay. Hope that was good for people. Let's just see here how it's going. Your stance seems a bit narrow for a squat. Maybe it is, man. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. I felt they remain their heart. So what's the problem? But yeah, it's right. I'm also squatted. I'm squished in beside the piano and the TV. Yeah, I mean, and the monitor here. Yeah. So, but you're right. I should maybe push them a bit further apart. You need this if you ever go to Asia. I need to poop in a public bath. Oh, there you go. I'm up to 20, but damn, it's tiring. Well done. If you jump in the air a few times, whenever your feet land is normally your squat stance. All right, okay, cool. That's pretty good to know. That's a handy tip. On him, Jaints. I've done them like that with a barbell. Oh-ho. Cool. And Janine, thank you for doing squats with us. You did great, Rocky. Rocket. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I've got my list here of people who've donated to the channel. Just going to read through this here. I'm going to read out a couple of names from the chat. And then I'll say cheerio. Thanks for tuning in to everybody. So, Janine W. Oh, shit. No, I'm going to do the TA for Jamie. Do that first. I'm not doing my thingies yet first. This is Charge Point Holdings, Inc. Wonder if they're like EVGO. It's back in a second. Hide this. Ah, fuck. Had to sort my screen out for a second there. This is EVGO. I'm just looking at this because of the potential for whatever. Okay. Right. It's a 3-day, 24-hour time frame. Not a massive fan of the hidden bearish divergence on this one, to be perfectly frank. But the retest of the breakout zone's fine by me. We've done it. The hidden bearish divergence accompanied by that retest there being taken out itself turns it into just a really powerful turnaround in the markets, and that's ideal. It's the perfect storm. So that's good. So I can't remember what your other ticker was again, Jamie. CHPT dipped down beneath this area, right back at resistance. Got a flash. This is the 3-day time frame. Flash on the 3-day time frame. Well, we can consider that one done already. What about over here though? Yeah, as well. 2-day, ongoing, 24-hour time frame. So 12-hour time frame. Do you notice this on the true range? And do you notice it in the stock prices themselves? Do you notice? Actually, maybe it's easier to see if I just make it really, really, really small, because there'll be these little white candles that just have this sort of like toothy white look to them, which you can see on the charts as I'm drawing them in here. And you can also see here the corresponding immediate jumps in the true range. It's just interesting to see, in the sense that this is one which has got shit all liquidity with it, and is pushed around by people, by stock operators, as you can tell here, no doubt yourself. So where's the stock operator taking it this time? So far, where are we? That's not in the, this is a 1 hour time frame, but push it up to something like the 4 hour or the daily, and it'll start to look more like that V shape. So between that high, and this is kind of where the wick was. I'll just go from the wick in that sense to that low. We're just come to the 618 here. So so you know, that's an area to see profit taking happen, and that has happened. Come back down to the 50%. Didn't break it, so we also will right now be above the 236 off the corresponding negative one. As you can see, the 236 and the 50% point lining up perfectly, because this thing is operating on a harmonic schedule, essentially, not using Scott Carney's harmonic word there, but just essentially on the Fibonacci schedule as is predictable. You can see the extreme overlap between the previous points and where we are now. I mean, it's not going to be as visible on the linear scale by just a little margin than it is, in my opinion. Maybe it's just the same. I mean, maybe it's just the same, but for me, it's visible there. But anyway, does that continue on as well? Where are we right now in regards to the bigger story, though? This is me measuring it back the way. I talked about this yesterday, but this was talking about it from a different point of view. I still know which points to look to. So really, it boils down to this. I mean, currently it's doing very well. Currently it's doing very well. It's above the 236, so long as it stays above 1950. It's a good buy. So managing risk with drops down below 1940, etc., perfectly acceptable to be long on this. Aiming up towards $21 as your profit taken, however, as opposed to looking beyond, knowing that the risk in this zone here is the highest risk that there's going to be in any of this movement here, perhaps with the potential exception of the risk that exists within this little zone just there, just beyond where we are right now, beyond the 618, etc. So if we do pull back from here, then I expect a retest of the 236. I think that expect isn't actually necessarily too strong a word to use at this time, given the correspondence, like I'm saying, in the corresponding nature of these Fibonacci's. As you can see, the 618 lining up perfectly with that 236 retest. So, you know, I think that's perfectly legitimate to say that that's where I'd be expecting the prices to go, and that's down to 1850. Now this 1850 thing here, if this didn't work and if we saw the prices dropping down here, then I'm happy to take shorts off the back of this thing, because this is obviously very much downward negative price action. Now, we were previously in a wedge here. It has dumped down the way and back up, going below long-term support to do so. So there's a very interesting dynamic here, and this takes me back to where we started at on this one, on the average true range, and seeing this thing here and just seeing how somebody is in control of this market, and how patently obvious that is to me, and how then I would just be going along with whatever my buddy in charge of the market's wanting to do. You know, it's like, man, it's cool. Like, I'm with you on it. Don't worry about it. So if we want to go up, we want to go up. If we want to go down, we want to go down, and I'll fucking just ride along with it. Right now, for me, this is and again, to finish off the show with just going back to where we were previously, discussing patterns on the charts, right? You could have had, for example, a wedge that looks something like that and something like this. I haven't seen it fill in the entire feckin' thing here, the entire feckin' thing. Not any of this breaking out at 75% type of stuff, the entire thing before moving up the way. You can see then here that dissatisfactory movement that you got when you could have been aiming up towards the towards this zone, but instead you checked out at half of the measured move. You know, you're checking out by the time you've had half of it. Why? Well, because quite clearly in this area is where your fake out territory would have been, given the market structure from our previous highs. We did move up the weight. We then, of course, came in here, retested the critical sort of support area for that zone. Not just that zone, of course, as well. There was the critical support area from in the past as well, right in there at that price point, before dropping on down and coming back up here and giving us this potential for the kind of the if you like, to say in this very short term time frame that perhaps you've got your little diving man at this point here, and we've already done enough coming up towards the 618. For me, I'm looking beyond this little area of inflection just here, even though this, of course, is an extremely significant price point, and not really even though, but primarily because of the fact that this is, of course, a major historical horizontal support and resistance zone. Therefore, would be foolish not to respect that. So here we are, and we've pushed back a wee bit from that point, and now we're back up again, challenging it again. So 1 minute time frame showing us the same story as what we're seeing on the larger time frames with regards to, can we get past the 886 up here of this little tiny little movement here, gone past the 618. You know, in a sense, this is your biggest risk zone, as it would have been. Of course, we came back in to fill in that gap, so that's quite nice. Aiming up here towards this area right now of $20.06. But how does that change things on the bigger time frame? It really doesn't. It really doesn't until we're pushing on higher up. But we're there. We're doing this just now, and this would be step 1 before we get to step 2, before we get to step 3. And I'm liking what I'm seeing overall here. It's just that obviously we're at that risk zone. I'll go with whatever way this one wants to be pushed around on the charts. This here, we've already just filled in that gap, that flash, the rocky outcrop flash. Perfect. We've also got another rocky outcrop flash up above. Let me just check the drawings again here. Have we filled that in? It looks to me like we haven't. Current targets therefore 21.26. Let's call it 21.21. That's my current target on this one. VET USDT. Nice movement back up the way here. This Fibonacci no longer working for us. You can see that previously it remained valid, invalid. Came up towards that high, actually became valid, moved down, 382 Fibonacci retracement, wick down to the 50%, bought up quite nicely, pushed up the way. Typical things that you would see in a V-shaped recovery would be lows like this. I made an infographic last night for the for V-shaped recoveries so that people can see exactly that themselves. I'll just show you that real quick just now so you get an idea. If it would oblige me in opening up for me my little infographic. Damn, I just opened up another program. I wish I hadn't done that. Let's try this another way so I can show you my little infographic. Where is it? Open with. Choose another app. More apps. God, that's so annoying. Why did it not just open up though? Anyway, I made an infographic. It was good. Or something. Leave. There we go. V-shaped recoveries, right? Okay, V-shaped recoveries. You've got your man here, and he's on his diving board, all that good stuff. We've talked about this a whole bunch of times. Make myself very narrow here to talk about this. As you can see, just here, there's your man. Down here, there's the V shape, the 236, the 886. the bit of chat down the bottom here about how the fib is a key level. You're looking for follow through between these things. Got the infographic there. You can pause the screen and come back to read it. You can get it out of the Discord. It's not big. It's not really a big deal, but this is, of course, precisely relevant to what we're looking at just here on the charts right now. And is a nice way to finish off the show, and has a nice degree of correlation between what I was just talking about and the chat that's in the Discord, which people are able to join if they want to become good traders, or indeed if they just want to become good human beings, or indeed if they actually already are one, just want to hang around with other good human beings and good traders. Anyway, what we can see here is high to low. That actually 4-hour time frame. Let's just bump this up to 12 so we can make it even easier to see. I'll make the screen full screen. I'll pull this up the way and just kind of give you this little kind of just little sort of example here of what we're talking about. It's like you get the big drop down the way. You get the you're buying back in candles, 24-hour time frame. Make it so you can see it just becomes entirely wick. Goes back up above the 236 point, defends it, moves on up the way. Come in for the 618 here, but we're still aiming up. We could push up towards 12, and that would be nice to see. It's exactly what we're looking for. The 1-hour time frame, this looks a lot more like this. This is how you'd be able to identify one of these things across time. This is, of course, as well like this on the 15-minute time frame. So we're seeing that various different things happened. For example, with regards to this 236 Fibonacci, this was on the way down, so that doesn't count, but you can see that we had that liquidity in there. Then we bounced up the way, experiencing that liquidity again, knowing here that that's on the way down, that's where it would have been. Equally, by the way, you can see that that's the case when people front running this. Had we actually bounced from this zone, then your previous knot would have been the liquidity one. Had we bounced from this zone, then your previous knot would have been the liquidity one. So instead, we actually bounced from this zone, and in actual fact, the way that you can see here that it's much more perfectly aligned means that this is where, of course, the majority of people who actually knew what they were doing it from there. And then we got that rise up, which became extended here purely to push past, and obviously divergent. I'll just show you to push past the. To push at this point, to push past the 236, to come in and retest it again and get support and move on up the way afterwards. So that's, this is fairly typical in this zone. And the way that you would play that then is obviously, I think, implicit. I think it speaks for itself exactly how you could manage your risk in around that zone. Now, pulling back from the 618 is, of course, not a surprise. Better entries to be had, most likely at all of the ones. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. You can see that it could even go down towards 10, 9. So I would be looking for 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But, we've probably actually already been there in the recent past. 15-minute time frame, indeed we have, bouncing around off of all of this. So this could have already have happened. It's hard to say. We got that green volume. The markets here showing the true range, pushing past our previous true ranges as well, giving us the chance to actually have the gusto that you would need to be able to take out highs. Because when you're looking to see, can we get up? Well, the prices are moving just a bit more here than they were on the way down in terms of movements. Then there is a good chance that these highs would be coming in higher than the previous ones, which is good to see then, as we have the true range coming in here higher than our previous ones there for us. We also have the stochastics in here with the potential for a turnaround at this point here, but not having turned around. Very good, continuing up the way. The DMI not divergent so far in this period of time here, which is very good. The things that need filled have been filled as well. 1 hour time frame, is that the case? Yep, got a gap fill with this one as well on that movement up towards the where was that from? Well, wherever. That was filled in quicker as well. So it's all done. So it's done. So that's where we are with that one in terms of the here and now. Now we need to put the here and now into the context of where we've just come from as well. So we were in this channel down the way, pushed up, and we didn't retrace back all the way for those tests. We didn't go in for a 618 golden pocket test then either. We came in at this point here, and it was an area of support and resistance, but yeah, whoop. Funny face there. That's funny. Ooh. Right. No, playing this beyond that is foolhardy at this stage. Going beyond that is foolhardy at this stage for a couple of reasons. Just here for one is that we have, if I just can show you this here, that if we have failure at this point just here at the 1111111s where that discount price is coming in at, that's taking out the 236 on the way up, and I could be easily looking to come in here and retest the horizontal of the channel. So if this was this channel down the way and this is the horizontal area that we broke out at, where does that line up with? Well, lo and behold, it lines up perfectly with the 618 golden pocket. So movements down below all of the ones make me inclined to look for a movement, maybe even perhaps as far as the 0.9414. We know, because I spent the first 5 minutes or so talking about the near-term price action, what we're looking at to kind of hopefully happen here and now. But in the context of the bigger picture, then the recent retest that we had down at these lows was a retest of that 236. Taking that out again on a movement towards the 618, I would be very hesitant at failure points just here, again with the potential to go on down. Of course, if this were to happen, be very, very careful with the next regions, that especially with regions that have got degrees of overlap about them, such as the 236 failure point at this point, which would also line up with the 382 in this region, should we come back up to it again if we were to drop back down the way from where we are just now. Right now, in the meantime, I'm hoping to see we can get that 886 Fibonacci retracement towards the top side, with the potential, of course, to get another discount at all the ones, managing my risk there, not wanting to be in trades that take out the 10.9 area, because taking out 10.9, I'm looking towards 9.9. RSI recently entered bearish conditions. Plenty of reasons to be hesitant on this one. It would make for an interesting short right now. Plenty of reasons to be hesitant on this one. It would make for an interesting short right now. If you want to short it off the back of the 618 being tested and all that good stuff, then you absolutely can right in here. If you like to management of your risk in terms of this one, well, then you can just think about it very simply. The diving board that we were just at, in terms of taking out 11.555, 11.6, take out 11.6, ditch your short. It's up to you which way you'd go. I'm looking for it to get to the 886 so I can short it from there. You understand what I'm saying? Looking for it to get to the 886 so I can short it from there instead, with the happy knowledge that I would just go with the trend. Look, I'm not trading this for I wouldn't be trading this for more than a few days at a time. Okay, I'd be taking my trade at the minute just to see where it's going. If I want to have a position which can take advantage of trend and moves, then I'm going to finish off the area today by showing you that here's your highs, here's your lows, and that if I draw on a Fibonacci between the two of them, there's your high up there, bang. There's your low down here, bang. Right, okay. We're at the 236 right now on the logarithmic scale on this area, so it's very positive. But where does that line up with 10.5 or so? 10.5, taking that out puts us in highway to the danger zone all over again. Now, if I pop this over to the linear scale, so you can see the same dynamic at play in here with regards to the thingy, although this number doesn't seem to be working. I'm highly skeptical about my Fibonacci tool at the minute on this chart, and I'm done, and we're done for the day. We're done for the day there on that front. That was extended technical analysis on this thing because my brother asked me to do it. That's why I was giving it that chat just like that. While we sit on the top floor of our safe building. Is this talking about zombie apocalypses? Jimmy, did you ask me to do TA and then sit there and talk about zombie apocalypses? Is that what it was? Okay, right, cool. No cost. Nah, Cachito, do you want cost? I'll look at cost for a couple of minutes. I mean, I know you and Sal both want it, so I'll look at cost for a couple of minutes since we're just here to get me over the disappointment of Jimmy not paying attention to the TA that I did for him at the time. Which is me taking the piss out of my brother. It's all good. Look at that. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Everybody enjoy that one. Haha. I think it's probably pretty obvious what I'd have done in this situation. I'd have been looking for that. It's happened today. What a massive laugh that is. Sorry to everybody that went long on KOSS, talking about this being a breakout at this point here as well. Like, oh, look, we're up here. We've broken out past the thing. How foolhardy and wrong to be trading like that. That would be so freaking wrong. But anyway, there you have it. We've come back in and we've done that. That's fracking hilarious. Has this changed conditions somewhat for us? Well, look at this. No surprises. No surprises. No surprises. Yeah. That if we were to actually move up to those areas that we tried today, which were completely unsustainable, then maybe we would have. What's this classic remembrance like? It's like what happened on AMAT just a couple of weeks ago, just a few weeks ago. It's what happens in these stocks. It's what happens in all these stocks all the time, especially stocks like this one that's quite shite. KOSS, for example. No offense to anybody that likes KOSS. I mean, what's so good about it? Just the fact that it's trending. I'm just saying, as a company themselves, what are they? Specialist headphone manufacturer, some crap like that, like KOSS. I know heavily shorted, blah blah blah, but I mean KOSS stereophones or whatever. Like, you're super interested in fucking in this stuff, like brilliant and everything, great and all, great. That's great and everything. It's great. That's great. Hello, I am wearing these and I'm at my work and I'm working from home and I'm wearing headphones. Register your product for a thing. Like, yeah, brilliant and everything, but it doesn't really look as good as companies like that one, or indeed, just simply put, in terms of like this one, which has got I mean, I'm not going to say this is a beautiful looking website, because I actually think that the GameStop website's quite gash, always have. It's got a lot better recently, remains gash. It's a poor man's, a really obvious, overt poor man's Amazon. Right now, the way they've laid this out, obviously, but it's great, and I'd far rather invest in this company than KOSS, for example, myself, knowing about them overall. But nevertheless, I mean, they're two majorly different. They're majorly different stocks, aren't they? They're different stocks, but I mean, whatever. I really don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if anybody even buys KOSS headphones or anything. I really don't give a shit. Don't give a flying shit about this company. Don't give a shit about this company. Anyway, did what we thought it would do, in the sense that if I'd have been asked beforehand, if there's a huge gap that brings us up above the 236, what do you think is going to happen? Tons of enthusiasm in there. What's probably going to happen? Probably going to be a retrace to fill in that gap immediately. Why? It's probably pre-market manipulation by people. Why? Because it'll be breaking significant support horizontal levels. What would you do? Well, if I wanted to take a part of any momentum here, I'd be looking at it. First 15 minutes of the day, there was momentum there to be taken advantage of in the one or two, or nope, frankly, in the one green candle that we had. No, wait, did we have any green candles today? No. No, they wouldn't have taken. No. So if there had been any movements, any potential for that, I could have done it, but I wouldn't have. And then there you go. So like that's it. Well, I really hope that people who are trading this today were taking advantage of that 16% move towards the downside. Good laugh, hilarious. Seen this a billion times in the past. Memories? Anybody, for instance, of where was it? The 30th of September on AMC? Was that one? Was this one? Yep. So remember then, that sort of thing. But was that it? Was that another good one? Metamaterials, like recently, where was Metamaterials doing its stuff? Here, remember this was a hilarious, good laugh on that one. Right, so I really hope that you're not trading these things like a complete and absolute moron, right? Just, I hope that you're not trading these things like a complete and absolute out and out lunatic that has absolutely no idea what they're doing. Instead, I hope that you're trading them well. Right, that would be my general one on that. I hope that you're having a good time with this today. Right, nice one, brilliant, great. So reverse roll call. In fact, tell you what, turning off that screen. Don't want to see any more of your chat. Don't want to see it because you're just going to ask me to look at stuff. If you want to give me a donation right now, brilliant. You could send me $1,000 right now and ask me to take a look at stock, and I'm not going to do it. Okay, it's just not going to happen. I need to tune out right now. So thanks very much. Really do appreciate it. Janine, thank you for your $5. Thanks for doing squats. Thanks to everybody. Yes, that was 27 minutes ago. The last 27 minutes were mostly just for to help people out. Right, yeah, bye. Thanks, Janine. Thanks, Texas Wanker. Thanks, Trace Ones. Thanks, Sal. Thanks, Cachito. Thanks, Texas Wanker. Thanks, D Harker. Thanks, Champion. Thanks, Renegade Red Squirrel from Blair Gowrie. Good to see you, pal. Texas Wanker, D Harker, Ghost of Gulf Doomslayer, Danko Bar for becoming a member again today. You got your free thingy. I hope you used it. If you didn't, you didn't. Turnips, for example, also got your free thing today. D Harker, thanks so much for supporting the channel earlier on with all that with that financial support. Likewise, thanks to all the rest of you for tuning in. There's plenty of names in the chat there. You know yourselves who you are. Thanks to the likes of Christy, KT, Geo, Maxwell, Banana Frige, Ms. Wilson, that's Katie Babes, of course, in her teacher hat, I think. Then you've got Vivek, Rajani, Rocky, Jamie, approaching 628. Fantastic stuff. Bring that to the likes of some other person who who just sits there taking your money all day. Girl in a yellow dress, thanks so much. Come to Central California. It's perfect all year round. Absolutely is. Especially the more girls in yellow dresses that there are there, then probably the better it is. Thanks so much for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. My name's been Rocky Outcrop. Here's another opportunity for you to hit the like button. It's coming up right now. You could actually just do it now if you wanted to, but I'll run the intro credits again. At the end of those intro credits, I'll probably say, please do hit the like button, share it with your friends, make some clips from it. You can imagine how tired I am doing this stuff and the amount of drop dead gorgeous technical analysis there is. Honestly, nobody's let me know that they are making clips. I'll make some clips again over this weekend, but if anybody wants to, and I don't mean clips as in that 1 minute thing down below YouTube, I mean screen recording my episode and re-uploading it and edit and all the rest of it. If anybody wants to do that, that's cool. It's basically it would be the most expensive trading course available anywhere in the world if it was actually compiled into one, but it's out there for free at the minute. If that represents value to people where they think that they would enjoy doing the process and learn something as a result of doing it, and that they would get all of that benefit out of their own life, and that just by adding a tiny little bit of extra effort in along the way with it, that they would actually help the rest of the community an awful lot, I would encourage people to do that. Of course, that's not to make anybody feel bad for not doing it. I do know that it takes experience, etc., to do this and for it to be easy. So I'm not asking anybody to develop any new skills. I'm simply saying that if anybody finds it fairly easy to do any, that there is a colossal amount of educational material on the show for the last 3-4 weeks, and an incredible amount. And today I promised myself I would take it easy and do a shorter show. I haven't done that. I've been live now for the last 17 years, and tomorrow I will be taking it easier. So I really do need your assistance with that. Please, can you assist me in that? As you can tell, obviously, with the greatest respect to everybody, there's a degree of conflict there. You know, you've got people being like, take it easy, we love you, take it easy, you don't even got to do anything, just do whatever you like, relax, take it easy, combined with then completely forgetting that's what they talked about when we get around to the show. And it happening and people seeing me enthusiastic, etc., and just kind of going with it. So it's really, look, you know, it's Rockstar energy drink that's given us this. It's purely fake. I'll be exhausted later on and won't have any energy to do any of this. This is all fake energy that I've got. So I'm operating at a deficit and I'm taking energy out of my energy overdraft. Love you very much. Not going to read any more chat. I don't want to see anybody asking me to stay on and do anything else. Thanks so much. Just get rid of that logo, that thing. So pick it up, troops, says TradeSpot. Really would appreciate that. I'm not staying any longer. Thanks so much. See you later.